I'm Logan Webb, and you're listening to TortureCast.
You're listening to a podcast by and for fans of the three-time world champion, San Francisco Giants. With hosts Chad King and Eric Nathanson. This is TortureCast.
It's Monday, October 21st, 2024, and this is episode 307 of the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. I'm your host, Chad King, and joining me today, we have a threesome tonight. Eric Nathanson joining us as usual. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing well. Happy to be talking baseball, albeit it's tough to be what the teams are, but it's always nice to get together before the World Series and talk ball with you guys, so I'm happy.
And I'm going to try and make myself more available for the evenings because I know it's tough for Willie to make it during the day early in the week. But here we are on a Monday evening, so Willie's able to join us. How you doing, man?
I'm good. And actually, now there's a reason why I can join you on a Monday evening. Normally, this would be impossible for me. But I quit my job at the bar. I just quit that shit. So I'm not looking for a job until the MGA World Championship is over because that's a big project and that actually makes me some money. So I just got fed up. I got fed up with not being able to do things. I got fed up with babysitting drunk people. I got fed up with the bar constantly being out of things and things being broken when I come in and I have to fix them, and I'm not even a manager. I'm just a guy who works there. No one else will do it. Yeah, you think you can hear the fed upness in my voice. Dude, guess what? I don't ever have to go back there.
Right. Good for you.
So Mondays are really on the table again, you guys. So,
honestly, Will,
that's good.
You sound refreshed and happy right now. I got to be honest,
Right?
Not that you sound like dull and stuff during the season, but you do. You sound like full of life right now. So you see renewed energy.
I probably sounded I I know that. Right. I sounded like a guy who's probably drinking too much because I was, I don't know. There's a whole world when you work at a dive bar. It just sucks you in, man. And I wanted out. I was like, get me out of here. Now, I'm glad you said that I sound refreshed because me and Chad, right before you came on, Eric, we were discussing the fact that there are ups and downs in sports fandom. And that's kind of part of the thing, right? But right now, me and Chad are in a big down. This is just the Dodgers in the World Series. Everybody on the 49ers is hurt. We haven't beat the Chiefs in like 7 years. So
I forgot about
I'm still going to feel good about some things, but let's get into the other shit.
Oh, man, I feel bad for you guys. That was just ridiculous yesterday. You guys, You have no team. And,
we have no team.
You don't. You can't even blame Purdy. Purdy had been carrying them, to be honest, until this week. Yeah. So it's kind of...
he had a very bad game. Yeah.
He had a bad game, but also you got to remember he's throwing to his 5th, 6th, and 7th receivers.
Exactly.
Something like that. Yeah, Kittle was out. Debo's.
You guys had this happen.
Huh?
You guys had this happen a couple years ago. You went to the Super Bowl. The next year, they fell apart with injuries, and then you all bounced back and went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was like 2020 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, we finished with like a 6-10 record the year after going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And it was the same kind of shit. Yeah.
But
basically, everybody on the team is fucking hurt. And the guys who are there, it's almost like they're about to be hurt at any moment. So, yeah.
I think they're afraid. Ayuk, holds out, signs this massive deal, and then bam, ACL, MCL, gone for the year, and it's going to go into next year. Debo's out with fluid in his lungs and pneumonia. That doesn't sound good. Kittle's gone. It's not good. It's not good right now.
That's all right, guys. Hey, there's plenty of room. Come on over to the Bears bandwagon. Get behind Caleb Williams.
I might.
Keenan Allen. We're fine.
Hey, the Bears are pretty exciting, dude.
I know, right? It's fun.
Hey, there's that date on the calendar that I've been talking to Eric about.
That's right.
And we'll see if it happens. So the Bears are visiting the Niners in December. And at first, I penciled that in as an easy W for the Niners. Not so much anymore. That is definitely not the case.
No,
I'm
almost
very
like
concerned now.
let's just maybe like just wrap this season up and just move on next year and just make sure Purdy doesn't get hurt.
Hey, look, 2 years ago, or what it was, 2 years ago, 3 years. No, it was 2 years ago. Purdy's first year after he took over for Garoppolo, they started 3-5. They're 3-4 right now, and they made it to the NFC Championship.
That is true.
I'm just saying.
That is
so
true.
It's not like they haven't come back from this spot before. And the NFC West is really weak. They were first place at the start of the day yesterday, and now they're technically in third.
Yeah.
But they still play LA and Seattle again, so they can regain it if they get a little momentum and beat those teams. It's still, I don't know. They wouldn't go far in the playoffs. I know that.
It just feels bad. Feels real bad.
I was going to say, it's just with the fandom, you guys are right. You combine that with the Giants, firing Farhan and missing the playoffs and just being mediocre to watching the hated Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series. You're right. It's not a good time to be a fan. So, hopefully when this World Series ends, maybe Buster can make some waves and make us all happy again.
Yeah. And, let's just get right to the point. We, recorded at the beginning of the playoffs. Eric and I gave our picks, and I highlighted his picks in green because he nailed the two that were going to be in the World Series. And on paper, that was look, I'm going to be completely honest, and I know that some, not all, some Giants fans share my sentiment. We all, of course, never want the Dodgers to be in the World Series. We don't want them to have any success whatsoever. But for me personally, Yankees are kind of enemy number 2. And so out of all 30 teams, for me, the worst matchup, the worst World Series is Dodgers-Yankees. It's like, can neither of them win? That would be great. But, one of them is going to have to win. So for me, this is not a favorable matchup. I will say, though, yes, the stars are there. So if you're sort of agnostic to it, fandom or just one team, the stars are there. The theater's there. Fox is ecstatic that it wasn't last year's Texas, Arizona, right? I mean, they're just like Shohei and Judge and Stanton and all these big Soto and all these big superstars, versus what we had last year. Their TV share is going to be way up. And it's crazy. Japan, which is 1/3 the population of the U.S., has been almost tripling the viewing audience of the U.S. So, I mean, that says two things. God. One, they love Shohei and everything like that. And the biggest game so far was the Game 5 with Yu Darvish and, Yamamoto starting. But that's kind of sad because it also says that, America's not really, not watching baseball like it used to. The World Series was something that half the country tuned into. And now it's like, 5%, 10% of the country tunes in. But this will draw
I was actually
a much larger audience.
I was wondering if there was any chance that the New York Mets versus the New York Yankees could somehow have the star power of this because Subway Series, but there's no fucking way. I mean, this is West Coast,
especially because
East Coast, Shohei versus Judge.
It's
American League versus National League MVPs probably. It's got everything, right? I mean, what else could we have?
This is the first World Series with 5 MVPs between the two rosters. Somebody on each of these teams has won MVP every year since 2017. Somebody on both of these teams. And the only year they didn't, 2019, Cody Bellinger won it, and he was a Dodger at the time.
Sure.
I mean, you talk about star power. It has that. Yankees-Dodgers is so ingrained in old school. It's like everything baseball is supposed to be about. You talking about the ratings. Hate watching is going to go to a whole new level this World Series.
Hate watching through the roof.
Hate watch, totally, right? True. It's like doom scrolling.
Look, every Mets fan is a diehard Dodgers fan right now, and every Giants fan is a diehard Yankees fan right now. Every Padres fan is a diehard. There's a lot for a lot of fan bases to take in here. And the one thing that I guess we won't get, unfortunately, is Kershaw getting shelled, absolutely, because I don't think he's going to play. But, oh, well. We'll have a lot of other cool stuff.
And that would have been cool, though, if Prime Kershaw was a part of this mixture.
I know.
Seeing him against Judge and Stanton and Soto. How cool would that be?
He's clearly enjoying the hell out of himself just being there because he's still hanging out in the dugout with a uni on. But, I mean, I guess I would that's the one thing I'm a little sad for him, even though I hate him. I'd love them too at the same time, but
he's pulling the old Brian.
We're gonna
hanging out in the dugout.
Yeah. I guarantee you, though, this whole series, I really do hope it goes down to 7 and there's just massive moments, and I think there will be. I really do predict that. I cannot say who's going to win this for sure. I know technically the Dodgers are the favorites, right? But I don't know, man. I cannot predict anything. I just know that there's going to be some bombs. There's going to be a couple of close nail biters, and there's going to be some extra inning games for sure, and a lot of like just amazing moments. I can't wait. And I know I'm supposed to hate it, Chad. I know, but I don't.
I get it. I get it. From a purely baseball perspective, in terms of stars, talent versus talent. I mean, you can't get a better draw, you know? As far as historic franchises, I mean, yeah, the Giants Dodgers are kind of interchangeable in that way, but at the same time, this is the most common matchup in World Series history, right? This will be the 12th. Yeah, this will be the 12th meeting. Now, the first since 1981. But I mean, I know, look, expansion.
And nothing cool happened in that one, right?
Expanded playoffs, obviously, really reduces the number of times teams can, play one another. So I think that 12 is going to kind of stand for another 100 years because they could also meet up again. But they met in 41, 47, 49, 52, 53, 55, 56. Think of that. That was 4 out of 5 years. The World Series was Yankees Dodgers. Then 63, 77, 78, and 81. So 3 out of 5 years right there on that last run. And then nothing for 23 years. Or 43 years. That's crazy. But yeah, this is the most common matchup. The second one being Yankees Giants. That's happened 7 times so far. So they're even 5 behind that, almost half as much. So like you said, Willie, Dodgers are favored to win in Vegas. They're minus 130. Yankees are plus 110. But, whatever. It's 2 number 1 seeds going at it, which that in itself is unusual. I mean, how many times have we gotten at least 1, if not 2 wild cards in the World Series? That's what we had last year. The Giants have been there, obviously, a couple of times. So these are, actual best ones in their league representing themselves or their league in the World Series. So I guess on paper, it's, you got to have that once in a while. It just didn't want it to be these 2 teams. But yeah, from a purely baseball spectacle, fandom aside, it's pretty spectacular, and Fox is goddamn happy.
Well, speaking of the baseball itself, look at how different these 2 LCSs kind of were. Yeah, the Mets Dodgers, where the first lead change in any game in the series came in game 6. Like, every team that scored first in the first 5 games of the Dodgers Mets won the game. And then the Mets took a 1-0 lead in game 6. The Dodgers passed them 2-1, and that was it. That was the only lead change of the entire series. Juxtapose that to Cleveland and New York and those 2 epic games they played in game 4 and game 5. I mean, like, the Dodgers Mets series was kind of boring in comparison. Yankees Guardians was so much fun. I don't know about you guys, but watching like the Soto at bat in game 5, seeing in game 4, Clase melt down against Judge and Stanton back to back. Clase himself giving up 4 runs all year, giving up 5, 6, 7 runs in the playoffs. I mean, the storylines were so much fun in the ALCS. It was so much more fun to watch than the NLCS. The Dodgers Mets was just kind of blah. But I mean, like, the Yankees earned it. That was so fun to watch the stars step up. And we were hinting to it earlier. That Juan Soto at bat was the at bat of the playoffs and one of the best at bats I've seen in a long time. The mano-a-mano matchup, and the fact that he just basically was saying, I dare you to try to throw a fastball by me. And he still couldn't get it by him that high in the zone. It was just unbelievable that Soto was able to do that.
It was the first one he threw in the at-bat, too, right? It was like he was throwing him nothing but sliders and stuff, and then all of a sudden...
Yeah, he was trying to wait him out, right.
And he fouled off some nasty pitches, and he was doing the whole Soto dance. I mean, he was shaking his head and bobbing and weaving on every pitch. And it really did look like there's no way to get a ball by him. Even if it wasn't the pitch he wanted, he was just going to spoil it. And I think even the announcer said, it was like, how do you get a guy out with no holes? And it's
right.
He didn't have a hole in that at bat, that's for sure.
He's
and then when he hit it,
yeah,
when he hit it, it wasn't like Stanton's home run earlier, where the moment he hit it, you were like, holy shit, that is gone. He hit it with that angle where on TV it looks maybe like a pop-up, but you could tell he thought it maybe had enough. And then as soon as they showed the outfielder running back, I was like, oh my God, he fucking did it. Like, that was insane. And then I really do enjoy Like football has started to allow end zone celebrations and stuff more. I enjoy the fact that baseball players, and I know it pisses pitchers off. Um, Bumgarner would be doing really horrible in this era, but I am loving watching players celebrate going around the bases the way they are. I don't know. It's the whole thing's super exciting to me. So that everything about that at bat, and for a guy who doesn't care about either of these teams really, other than hating them, I in that moment was I'm a Juan Soto fan now. I mean, I was like,
Right.
that was awesome, dude. I don't think we're gonna get him. Some people think we are. I guess that's a little Giants tie-in right here. Some people think that now we're gonna open up the bank account for Juan Soto next
Hey,
year.
always the
After that moment,
bridesmaid, never the bride. It doesn't matter. It seems
I
like.
know. After that moment, I gotta think he's a Yankee for a long time. So,
Right?
Yeah, that's what I thought too in that moment.
yeah.
They're like, we can't let this guy go. We
No.
can't do that.
I mean, did you see how happy he
No,
was?
I mean,
Speaking to what you're talking about, Willie, that celebration was him turning to the dugout, pounding his chest, standing there for a
Mhm.
moment before he really took off down the line, and then the shot in the dugout, every guy hugging him, every guy like banging on him,
yeah.
like that clubhouse really seems to like each other.
Oh yeah. It's hard to put a bunch of superstars together and have them all seem to have fun together. But that's another thing about the Dodgers team right now too. They look like they all are enjoying each other. This is not
Agreed.
a bunch of disaffected superstars trying to go out and make a paycheck. These guys
Yeah.
are stoked to be out there playing baseball with each other, and they're having so much fun. So I don't know. It's hard for me to hate right now. I'm just,
Yeah.
inside my heart, it's hurting a little bit, but just watching baseball, I'm having a great time. So I don't know.
You're right. I mean, there's certain guys on the Dodgers that I love to hate, like a Max Muncy or a Kike
okay, yes.
Hernandez, right? I
Yeah,
don't
fuck that
like
guy.
I don't like the way they play. I don't like their attitude. I don't like
Yeah.
a lot about them. But then
Are you telling me I was
it's like
supposed to hate Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts?
exactly.
What's up?
It's like Mookie's like the nicest guy, and then there's Shohei, and I mean, he even deferred like 98% of his salary for the Dodgers to try and win, and there's a lot of Kershaw. I always hate to see him lose, but in all respects, he's a nice guy and all this stuff like that. Yeah, Dave Roberts, he's also a former Giant, right? He's not like a bad guy. I just love to see him fail and make the wrong choices. He's like the anti-Bruce Bochy.
He's not
right?
doing it anymore.
He always
What the
made
hell?
the wrong decisions. He was the mere opposite, and now it's like crap. So many Giants fans. I am not one of them, but so many Giants fans give Dodgers fans such shit for not winning a quote real World Series. Well, if they win this year, there's no more excuse for
This
those
is
fans.
the most
It's
real
like,
World
this
Series.
is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're facing the other number one seed, right? The Yankees. It's like, nah, this is the whole gauntlet. This is the whole thing. So, it's hard to root against
they
individuals.
also, if the Dodgers do pull it off, they also had to go through the Padres, who were absolutely on fire when they showed up there. And then not only did they beat them, they were down 2-1 in that series, and then the Padres scored 0 runs in like 2.5 games. Like that's crazy. The Dodgers run has been crazy. So
Well,
I don't know, man. It's really
Dodgers
hard. The hate
pitching
in my
was
heart, it's
supposed
hard.
yeah, Dodgers pitching is the problem. That's gonna be their weakness in October. And then, like you said, look at what they did to San Diego, and then to
Yeah.
start the Mets series, I think they shut them out in the first game of that series. It was an unbelievable kind of run. That's why
Yeah.
it makes it intriguing. You're right. I mean, this is the best that baseball has to offer. It really truly is. And like I am totally of the mindset. If you're not first, you're last. So it doesn't matter to me as a Giants fan that like our hated maybe the hated rival winning lights a fire, but I feel like I said this in 2020. But maybe that kind of stuff will light a fire in the Giants. Buster's watching this go down and being like, that should be us instead of them. You
Mm-hmm.
hope that your ball club takes it in, because coming in mediocre at 500, year after year is not going to cut it. I mean, look how much fun we're talking about these guys having so much fun. Wouldn't it be great if everybody was talking about our team? So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally hope it sparks a fire, because what an unbelievable, like, the way it's all come together is just, it's almost kismet, It's just the way that it's produced itself in 2024. You didn't expect it to actually happen. And then it's like, oh my God, once in a while the script plays. Because it's so tough, like you said, to get a 1 versus 1 matchup in the playoffs now. And these are both the best teams in both leagues. And I mean, what can you ask for but that? So, if you can forget about the uniforms they're wearing, it's the best in baseball has to offer.
Yeah. And now I would also point out that it's not these are not neither of these teams are the number one payroll. It was the Mets who were the number one payroll.
I
And
think
it
it's
was
2 and
Houston
5 or
Philly
something like that,
before
isn't
the
it?
Dodgers. Yeah, 2 and
Yeah.
5. So,
Yeah.
like I can't even hate it on that level. Like, where am I supposed to hate
No.
it? I can only hate it because it's the Dodgers and the Yankees. But I've been rereading Willie Mays' autobiography a lot lately, and he talks about the rivalry and obviously he was in New York when all three teams were there, right? But he talks about these rivalries with like reverence and respect. And I guess that's just kind of how I'm at right now. It's like I'm just looking at these teams and I'm just like, hey, respect, And I wish the Giants were doing the things that these teams are doing right now, which is going out, getting the guys, having really good farm systems, managers we trust. I don't know. It's like all the things I wish the Giants were doing. Both of these teams are doing. So I'm just looking at it like jealousy. That's all I have right now is jealousy.
Yeah, that's it's what it is right now. I love the fact that the Giants, the Dodgers have won 11 or 10 out of 11 divisions, right? The division 10 out of the last 11 years, and they have one World Series to show for it. The Giants have won 1 out of those 11, but have 3 World Championships. So I will gladly take that any day of the week. But I'm tired of watching the success of these other teams constantly every year. I mean, you definitely want to get in the playoffs every year. You're just going to increase your chances the more times you're in. Thankfully, the Giants have had that good efficiency. But, yeah, I'm just tired of this. It's been, 21 obviously was the exception, the outlier. But it's really been since 2016 that we felt like we had a connection to a core good team, It's been just failure year after year after year. And I'm hoping that Buster Posey is going to, spark some of that resurgence into what it was like when he used to play there. And I'm hoping he can instill that confidence and personality back into the Giants. It's all going to start with the GM that he's going to hire. But yeah, I hope the Giants can be back in this position here in a few years.
Willie said it. I was going to say, Willie, you said it. With the team liking each other, we haven't seen that kind of energy in the Giants dugout for years.
No, not at all.
No. Yeah. And they tried. This year they tried. And I think Chapman is a great initial building block for a team like that because everybody fucking loves that guy, right? Everybody loves Matt Chapman. So I think that's a great spot to start. And of course, I think Logan Webb is a great guy to build a rotation around. But it's just, man, we need so many pieces if we're going to compete with either of these teams ever. Just up and down. I mean, the number 4 hitter for the Dodgers is their scrawny ass shortstop, dude. And he's raking like crazy. And like, no one's talking about him as a superstar that everyone wants to come see. That's their cleanup hitter, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the Marco Scutaro. He's their Marco Scutaro.
Sure.
He got traded
100%.
there. And
he got
went
traded
on fire
there
in the LCS. I mean, it's totally a Marco Scutaro situation right there.
Yeah, but that's just how deep they are. And you are right, Chad, about the pitching. The Dodgers pitching, I guess, was the big question mark. My stepdad was like, we were watching the game where the Dodgers had a bullpen game going. And he was like, well, I don't know. It's going to be tough for the Dodgers with a bullpen game. And I just looked at him and I was like, do you know who's in their bullpen? I'm like, every single guy throws like 98 plus with nasty breaking pitches. And the fact that you can't see a starter like the second or third time through the lineup, I was like, I think that the Dodgers are clearly going to win this game. It's just, can you sustain that for, multiple series in a row? But they've lost a lot of talent in their rotation, and they still are doing things like what they did to the Padres. So, yeah, it's just depth up and down on both of these clubs. So I know the Dodgers are favored. I don't know, man. I can't pick one right now. I can't pick a team.
Well, you highlighted a really important matchup. Like the Dodgers, are going to really try to not let Stanton, Judge, and Soto face the same pitcher too many times in a row. and that's going to be the key to success against them, I would think. For the Dodgers, would try to be to keep those guys off balance by constantly throwing different pitchers in the game against them. So as it did seem to be a weakness, it's turning into a strength. Like, you talk about this Dodgers bullpen comes out just absolutely firing at people. So that might be the way the Dodgers are going to do it. That honestly, I got to say, is kind of why I'm leaning Dodgers to win the series. Is because I think, but then again, I say that, and just like you, I'm getting wishy-washy. I go ahead and say that, and then look at what the Yankees did to the Guardians' best relievers.
Yeah.
And you're left wondering, are they just going to do the same thing to the Yankees? You're right. This is a very, very tough series to pick. I really would have loved to have, not loved to have, but I've always thought the Dodgers are the most talented team. So it'd be nice to just be like, oh, clearly they're the more talented team. Pick them. But I mean, like you, I think it's going 7. At least I'm hoping it's going 7 because this is so evenly matched up. It's really cool that we have this matchup, like with this kind of goodness. So it makes it for intriguing matchups everywhere in this series. How deep can Yamamoto go in a game? You don't want to see him going through the order 3 times. So then the bullpen has to come in. Can the Yankees, stop making dumbass outs on the bases? I mean, they left like 5 runs on the table in Cleveland. It was ridiculous.
Okay, here's a dream scenario, right? It goes down to Game 7, and it's the 9th inning, and the Dodgers are up by 1, and they put Shohei Ohtani in to pitch the 9th inning. And he has to get through Judge, Stanton, and Soto. There you go.
Wouldn't that be something? That would be cool, but yeah.
It's not going to happen, but holy shit. Like, what if
and then Austin Wells hits a home run with one of them on base? So
there's so many moments that are going to happen, and I'm looking forward to all of them. But that Yankees lineup, it is true. Being able to throw a significant bullpen game at them might be one of the keys, because when you think about it, you got to get through those 3 guys 3 to 4 times in a game. And it just seems impossible right now, doesn't it? Yeah. Like, one of those guys is going to go off. And that's just, I don't know. It's just, as a manager, if you're the Dodgers manager, you just got to be staring at those innings and just wondering, what the hell are we going to throw at them, The Dodgers are a little more solid up and down. The Yankees really do they pack it into that little area there, and it's just 3 impossible outs in a row.
Yeah, I don't know what the Vegas odds were for Edman being the NLCS MVP, but you see that on occasion, right? You see someone get hot, not a no-namer, but just one of the utility guys, one of the guys that kind of hits down the lineup. Although he's been hitting number 4, which is kind of funny. I think he had like 4 home runs or something like that this year, but that's the way they did it. But you're right, the Yankees, it's just like the big guys were doing everything. And if it wasn't Soto, it was Stanton. If it wasn't Stanton, it was Judge. It was just day after day after day. And the Yankees for years, really since 2009, haven't even gotten back to the World Series, and so they just fail every year. But they make the playoffs almost every year. I think they made the playoffs every year since 2009, except for last year. I think was the only year they didn't make it. So for a team to make it that often and finally get back there, I'm sure the Yankee fans are pretty goddamn happy. And I just wanted to bring up, Eric, you called this matchup. I have to bring you down a little bit because you did think the Giants are going to win 95 games. We'll move along, but I just want to throw that out there.
Hey, I love that prediction. That's my guy right there. 95, hell yeah.
I think it might be tempered for the 2025 pick. I'm just guessing right now. For the LCSs, I had the very kind of pedestrian, not very exciting Cleveland, Baltimore, San Diego, Philly. Obviously, I only got 1 out of 4 right there. And then I thought San Diego, Cleveland with San Diego taking everything. So I'm out of it. That ain't happening. Now, you had Yankees, Tigers, Dodgers, Phillies. So you got half of the LCS right, but you got the World Series 100%. Yankees, Dodgers. Are you still sticking with the Dodgers taking it all?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like at this point, there's not a bad pick.
There's no bad pick. Yeah.
And this way, if I'm proved wrong and the Yankees beat them, I'm happy in the first place.
You're okay.
Happy too, yeah.
Right, so I'm either right and happy, or I'm just happy that the Yankees beat the Dodgers. I'd love to see Soto and them, win a title.
Every time I go to Vegas, I do that. I like bet against the 49ers or something like that for that hedging your bets. I swear to God, though, when I saw, sorry, I'm going on a tangent. When I saw that the Niners were favored by 2 points this weekend, I was like,
ridiculous.
"Holy crap! I want to lay at least 500 on this. Like, this is insane. Like, there's no way. There's no way the Niners are going to win by 2, let alone win."
I didn't know they were
sure
going to get
enough.
dismantled, but I thought that was insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Vegas really missed that one going into that game. I was like ready to lay my money out, and if the Niners prove me wrong, okay, fine. It's not worth $500. But
it's like we beat the Seahawks and everybody lost their minds. Like they all of a
I
sudden were
know.
like, "Look at how good they are again." And I was like, "Okay, guys." Like,
I was like, I see chinks in the armor here. I don't think they're gonna beat the Chiefs. You know. Plus, the Chiefs have like some mystical power over the Niners. They just can't seem to beat them no matter what.
it's called Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and he had a
Very
shitty game
mystical.
too.
Steve
Just can't figure it
Spagnuolo.
out.
Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah, Spags.
No,
is, like,
Spagnuolo has a lot
probably
to do with
key.
it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the
but-
bye week, the mystical bye week, right before, which is
Love
actually
it.
people don't think about, but I saw some crazy stat. It's like team after the bye week wins like 80% of the time or something like that. In the modern
Andy
era.
Reid wins like 95% of the time after the bye
Yeah.
week. I think he's only got like 1 or 2 losses. And I'm talking the Philly KC years all the way through. His teams
Right.
always come out off the bye.
Damn.
Andy
well, I mean,
Reid. All right.
the World Series is going to be fun. There's no doubt about it. The first game is Friday. These are obviously all evening games. Every first pitch is 5:08 Pacific time. So we got Friday, Saturday in LA, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday back in New York, and then Friday, Saturday, if necessary, back in LA. And of course, I hope it goes to a Game 7 and then they cancel the World Series. That would be my pick. But
Somehow there's an earthquake in
No,
LA right there.
everybody runs out of pitchers, and for some reason they go to Bud Selig, who happens to be sitting in the stand. He's like, I don't know what to do. They just
I don't know what to do.
the players go on strike after the series is tied 3 games apiece, and it's like 1995. There's no World Series.
So I'm
no
I'm really
winner.
happy that it's over before. It's gonna be over before the election and before I go to Vegas. So I don't have any other crap on my plate except for watching this World Series right now. And I'm considering kind of doing what I do when the Giants are in the World Series and just like going to one bar every single game and watching it there, just because it's just
Got
there's
the
something
freedom.
so fun about that, I will be rooting for the Yankees. I am a Yankee fan right now. And I'm going to go ahead. I said I couldn't pick, but I'm going to pick the Yankees. I think the Yankees will pull it out. I just think there's just so much magic on that team right now. I think the Dodgers are going to put up a serious fight, and there's going to be a couple games the Dodgers are going to blow them out. Like it's going to be, like 10-2 or 10-4 or something like that, like the way they did against the Mets. But I think the Yankees are going to clutch up enough times. They're going to pull it out in Game 7. And, yeah, I don't know. I haven't picked out my bar yet, but probably something local. And if the first game, there's a bunch of people there all having fun, I'm going to stick with it. Because I miss that, man. We haven't had that in a long time now. We're talking 10 years where I get to ruin my liver for an entire month watching playoff baseball. So I think this matchup might be worth it, just to go out and just have a blast every single night for these games, man. I cannot wait. It's going to be sick.
No, it's an all-time classic. And before we wrap up, we do have a little bit of Giants news. We have some Gold Glove
Wait, who are you
finalists.
taking? Wait, Chad, who are you taking?
Oh, yeah, Chad, you haven't predicted yet.
Yeah. I have not. That's true. I give. I don't.
Willie
can I
stepped out
not
there. Willie
pick?
said all show
I
that
wanna
he can't
pick.
make a pick. And then he steps out and makes a pick. You
I
got
stepped out. Yeah.
right.
Oh my God, this is. I hate this. I hate this so much. I don't want either one. All right.
Chad's rooting for
I-
the Comet. Okay.
Yeah, the comment. I don't care if it takes us all out, just as long as no one wins. It's fine with me. I'm going. Yeah, reluctantly, I'm riding Eric's coattails. I'm
Okay.
going. I'm going.
He hasn't
Dodgers,
been wrong
so.
yet.
Yeah. I don't. I hope it jinxes them. That's all I'm hoping for now.
Okay.
So-
There you go.
There you go. Good one.
Hell
Reverse
yeah.
jinx. I like it.
I'm
That's a
going to
good
pick the
enough
Dodgers
reason.
in the hopes that I am so unlucky as a human that it somehow
exactly.
rubs up on them.
I have that
Well,
kind of power.
The irony in all this is in the Giants chatter admin group chat, I'm the kiss of death. Whenever something good is happening and I mention it, that immediately tanks. We got a no-hitter going. I get in the chat. Oh, it immediately gives up a hit.
Yeah.
Some
hey, everyone, turn on.
Right. I'm the kiss of death constantly. So I appreciate that, Chad. Maybe my kiss of death will come out for us here.
All right.
Yeah, because that hasn't happened yet. Well, except for the wins, but that'll be the last time I mention that. Sorry.
Now I would have predicted Yankees if I had been there for the last episode when you guys did make your predictions. I was picking the Padres. I was with you on that one, Chad,
I knew you were going to say Padres. They were so good. I'm with you. They were so good.
They had one of the best second half records. I mean, they could not lose.
They were crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
They ran out of magic.
It. That's why. Yeah, I respect it. That's why I totally saw that come.
Yeah.
Yeah, they slayed the Dodgers in last year, the year before, and they started this series hot.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, They looked like that's what they were doing, and then they hit a brick wall, man. Like you said, Dodgers just shut them down for like 30 straight innings. It was like, wait, what happened? And so goes that. All right, so we got 3 Giants that are finalists for the Gold Glove Award. We have Patrick Bailey at catcher, Matt Chapman at third base, and Yaz in right field. Do you think any of them has a realistic shot? I'm thinking Bailey has a pretty good shot. Chapman has a decent shot.
Yeah.
I don't think Yaz.
I think Chapman has a good shot. Yaz, no way, because that wasn't as good as some of the other guys. So, and I know it's not supposed to matter, but it fucking does. But I think Chapman is our best bet.
Yeah. Yaz was a nice touch, though. It's nice to see that it was recognized because he is good defensively.
He is good.
He makes good he makes good reads, has good routes to the ball, and rarely messes up. So that was a nice little nod. But yeah, Chappie, I think more so than anybody else.
Yeah, I do think Bailey will get a couple in his career if he keeps on this trajectory because, he really is one of the most talented defensive catchers I've seen since Posey on the Giants. Yeah. Not like we've had a lot to choose from in that span, but he's a joy to watch play there. So I think he will get his due at some point. Yaz, it's funny because I do like what you said there, Eric, that it's a nice nod to give him some recognition for the best part of his game. It's the one thing that keeps me hanging on to that guy. I'm like, I'm not ready to move on completely yet, is because when you throw him out there in right field, he's incredible. And I'm looking at our outfield next year, and we could have one of the best defensive outfields if everyone stays healthy.
Figuring that outfield, that's going to be a fun off-season discussion. Figuring out that outfield, because there are a lot of bodies there, and you even would look to improve too. So it's like, where do you even trim the fat? But yeah, that's going to be a great off-season storyline for the Giants.
Yep. Then the last thing I was just going to mention is Brian Price decided to step down after one season as the pitching coach for the Giants. He just said it was time, and he grew up in Mill Valley. He grew up a Giants fan. He went to Cal. He's a Bay Area guy. There was really no other reason he gave other than it was just time, but it seems odd that he would kind of quit after 1 year. But, does that suggest something? I don't know, but we have JP Martinez was named pitching coach for next year, and he's only 42. He's been the assistant pitching coach for the last 4 seasons under Kapler and Melvin. So,
and he just got done playing for the Mets in the playoffs. I mean, JP.
I know. This guy's doing double duty.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, is that his brother? JP and JD. John Paul and John Douglas. So anyway, just a little tidbit there. No GM yet. So we'll see if that... I mean, you'd figure that's got to happen pretty soon, probably right after the World Series, though, right? Especially if some of these guys they can't even talk to until that window opens, which is typically the day after the World Series ends.
Yeah, I think we'll see something pretty quick after the World Series. I'm sure Posey's already got his short list going, but Posey's going to be the one making the ultimate decisions, so I feel good about that. But I would like to have somebody who can take some of the workload off of him and give him a lot of good information that then we can let him, as a natural winner, let him sort through and then find the moves that make the most sense. I have no real opinion about Martinez becoming our pitching coach because I don't really know much about him. I know he's been around for a while, but he's been kind of a background player. But the Giants, wasn't like I was mad at our pitching coach last year. I mean, we weren't the worst. We weren't the best. We were like middle of the road as far as as overall pitching performance. But we do have a lot of guys that I think have a lot of talent that are going to be on the roster next season. So if he's the guy who can pull the most out of them, let's see it, dude. I like young guys. I do like that. So losing 20 years off of our pitching coach, that can kind of ignite things a little bit. So I don't know. I'm good. I'm good with it. I don't really care. We'll see. He's no rags. You know what I mean? He's not like the guy that you're like, I love that guy. You know, we haven't had that guy in a while. Maybe he
Mel
becomes that guy.
Stottlemyre. Yeah.
Hey, I was wondering, would you guys even give it a 1% chance? I'm not advising this. I'm not promoting this. I'm just conspiracy theories. That Posey goes after Brian Sabian.
Wow.
I thought about that, honestly, when you were mentioning GMs. And all I could think is Buster waiting for the Yankees to be done so he can talk to Sabes and get into that front office, because, as we know, that's where Sabes cut his teeth and is also back home now. So
Yeah, exactly. I
that's
don't know.
interesting.
It's just one of those
1% is
things.
about
Like,
probably it. Yeah.
you know, Sabian.
Well, how old is
obviously
Sabian now?
68.
He's like in his late 60s. Okay.
Yeah, he's 68. So
Okay, no,
he's
then
still
he's
got a
still
little
good
bit
to
left
go.
in him.
Yeah, he's still good to go. I mean, look, obviously, he's a name here, and we love him. And you know, he was there when Posey was coming up, so like that's an interesting relationship. And maybe that's a good. Right now, he's not the GM, right? He's like
He's an advisor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he does want that responsibility.
He's in the Dusty Baker role. That's what he is.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So maybe he does want to step up and take on a little bit more again. And again, Buster, like him not being the guy, him being like second to the guy, might be a cool role for him.
Well, that's the thing. Buster can just pick his brain. You know what I mean? I can see Buster being like, who in this organization stands out to you, yada, yada, yada. So that's why there could be some collaboration there. Because when the Giants tried to emulate the Yankees is when the Giants had their most success at recent times. So, I mean, you know, maybe that's in Buster's head. Who knows? It's going to be fascinating to see, though. So it should be interesting. Oh, and Derrick Henry's off for the races. Derrick Henry is gone. Sorry.
I think you want the guy who's the good, like Buster Posey's kind of already that, but if you have another guy too on top of that who's really good with relationships with kind of superstar players, that's what we really want, right? We want a guy that big name players look at and go, yeah, I want to play for the Giants. Like those two guys are going to take care of me. Because I think at this point everyone's got the analytics now, right? Like that permeates baseball. So I think it's more about a guy who's just player, and coming from the Yankees, that's big cachet. 3 World Series with the Giants, that's big cachet. I don't know. I kind of like it. I like the move.
You know what's interesting? He obviously he was here forever, right? 97 to 2014. Out of those 18 seasons, the Giants had winning records in 13 of those 18, which says something. You know, he left after their last World Series. They haven't done much since. Now, I didn't know this, but when he was the vice president of player development and scouting with the Yankees, he drafted Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, JT Snow, Jorge Posada, and Andy Pettitte.
Damn.
So not a bad track record either, coming from way back when. So
sure.
I don't know. Just throwing it out there, just because it's Posey and he wants a little bit more old school. He wants someone who's familiar with scouting, and Sabian used to do all that stuff, right? So he seems to have that knack for it.
We're just connecting dots here, folks.
We're just putting it out there. You guys, you know, make up your own decisions. Put on the tinfoil hat. Do whatever you need to do. But
1%.
We'll see. Yeah. I'll give it 1%, something like that. All right. I think that's gonna do it for episode 307. Obviously, we will be back after the World Series to kind of break it down, because I know it's not actually going to finish, and we'll talk about how the Major League Baseball is going to fill the void of not having a World Series winner this year. And then we will talk about the Giants. Then we'll talk about the Giants offseason, certainly in the Hot Stove League. Do you guys, Eric, do you have anything else to promote or
join Giants Chatter on Facebook if you want to talk Giants during the offseason?
And obviously, MGA World Championships signups are closed.
Yep.
I assumed, Willie. Yeah,
that's the signups are closed. We have a smaller field this year than we normally do, but that's kind of on purpose and by design. We've switched from a Friday Saturday night or Friday Saturday day main tournament to now a Monday Tuesday tournament, which we knew was going to make it so that not everyone could go. But that really just means we have the diehards now, which is kind of more what I want. And also Monday Tuesday in Vegas,
cheaper.
Cheaper, and it's still Vegas, dude. Like Eric used to live there. Like it's not like nothing's going on a Monday night in Vegas. It's just a little more relaxed, a little more locals. You can actually get a drink at the bar, and I don't know. There's
get on
in
your
my
favorite
opinion,
machine,
there's a lot to love.
Play the table games without a line. Yeah,
true. Yeah. And also we're adding for the first time this year a team scramble event on Wednesday. So there's not only going to be a solo champion, there's also going to be a championship team for the first time ever, which is pretty exciting. So really excited about this year. If this is something that sounds cool to you, the Mediocre Golf Association, you're too late for this season, but mgatour.com, go find out if there's a chapter near you. There probably is. We have 100 chapters at this point. So get in there and come join us and play some golf.
Yeah, you guys are killing it, man. Good job.
Yes, it's going really, really well.
That'll do it for episode 306. We'll see you next time for 307. Until then, go no one. Boom.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the Torture Cast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at torturecast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.